Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto, or welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome to this new video on altcoins. Now the thumbnail probably says something like altcoin season. Just for the record, I don't think we're in an altcoin season. I don't think we're going to get into an altcoin season in the short term. Do I think it's a possibility for 2025? Yes, all right. You should never count it out. Although an altcoin season like we saw in 2017, like we saw in 2021, I don't expect that. All right. So just to get that out of the way, for those of you who are new, because I've spread these thoughts quite often already. That's what you need to know. But what I do want to talk about is just in general the course of altcoins right now, right? Because what we've seen is that obviously 2 weeks ago we had a lot of fun on altcoins, and altcoins did very, very well. And then over the course of this week, we also saw some altcoins do very well, but in general the altcoin strength was much less, right? And what we saw is that the Bitcoin dominance, and you can see since Tuesday the 29th, earlier last week, has rallied, all right? It's up 1%. But basically the entire rally that Bitcoin did from, let's say, 94, 93,000 up to where we are right now, 97, 96,000, that entire rally was not felt for most altcoins. So the big question is well, what can we expect from altcoins next week? And in general, that's always uncertain, right? I mean, the entire crypto market is still very, very reactive to headlines. So the headlines the last 2 weeks have been quite positive. So some more de-escalation in the trade war, and just in general, some less geopolitical tensions. Take a look at the volatility index, take a look at gold. So that's good, but that could turn around, right? There's nothing suggesting that we'd see that turn around right now, but just be aware of that, all right? So that's always an uncertainty factor, which isn't bullish, of course. But when we take a look at altcoins as a whole, what you'll see is that for basically Friday the 25th until now, they've been consolidating, right? So here we're looking at others, the best altcoin index in my opinion, and what you can see is that we've been consolidating here. So now the main question is that, all right, well, when you find some sort of consolidation in an area where historically you can also see we found a fair bit of balance, the big question is that, well, the price always moves from balance to balance. Can we get back up to this balance here to the upside? So basically to break out of this entire resistance level, which especially on the higher time frames is a major level, as you can see. Just as a bit of a spoiler, I don't expect that. I think that's too much to ask from altcoins right now. I think the general crypto market is quite strong, but that doesn't seem like it seems to me that Bitcoin is closer to the top than the bottom. And I also don't see a lot of retail or a lot of social momentum around coins right now. All right. And that is something I can, with a YouTube channel, I can quite accurately observe that. And right now it's just not the same as 2024. It's just not the same as November and December, which were the two times that we actually were able to break out. Right. So therefore, I don't expect the breakout. However, so I expect us ultimately for others, the index, to drop down lower into at least this level at $210 billion, potentially to revisit those bottoms right here. That is a possibility, especially if we get some bad news. However, short term, what I do still think is a possibility, given the fact that we still have a bit of wiggle room here until resistance, is that the Bitcoin dominance pulls back a bit. What you see very often here with the Bitcoin dominance is that we have a rally, then we have some sort of a bullish flag, and then a rally. And I think it's almost time for the Bitcoin dominance to pull some sort of a bullish flag, right? So that would introduce a little bit more wiggle room for altcoins over the course of next week, maybe the week afterwards, in which we can get one final move here from this tight balance into the main resistance level, and then from there I expect us to pull back, right? So I do think altcoins short term can still rally up higher, and there's always uncorrelated altcoins that can rally regardless of what Bitcoin does. So this is definitely not a video to tell you don't long any altcoins, or start shorting altcoins. That's not the main message. But I do think the general altcoin, the average altcoin, still has one more move left in it. And then afterwards, I would start expecting a little bit more downside towards some buy areas from which we can potentially break out down the line. But that's later. For now, I think that's what you need to know, right? So if you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.